Ice hockey may be at the heart of Canada's national identity, but baseball is deeply woven into the country's past and present. During the first half of the 19th century, Canadians played bat and ball games with rules that resembled what was happening on the other side of the border. The number of players on a team varied widely. Fielders could get outs by throwing the ball at base runners, a practice known as soaking or plugging.
Ouch!
And the bases were frequently laid out according to a square or rectangular shape, and not the modern baseball diamond. Which takes me to Adam Enoch Ford. In 1886, he wrote to Sporting Life magazine and described a game he witnessed as a 7-year-old boy living in Beachville, Canada on June 4th, 1838. It's a fascinating account. The bases, Ford says, were called byes. Home plate to the first bye was a short distance, designed to ensure players could reach safely, and then players would run 21 yards from base to base. Ford recalled there were knockers instead of batters, throwers instead of pitchers, a ball made of yarn and calfskin, and plugging base runners for outs. Ford also named the men involved in the game and claimed that the gray-haired players insisted on rules, quote, the way they used to play when they were boys, end quote, suggesting that the rules were decades old. More than a few Canadians will say Beachville is the first recorded baseball game. Let's talk about Canadian rules baseball and one of North America's first recorded bat and ball games. I think a good starting point for this video is the word baseball itself. A general dictionary of the English language, published in London before the American Revolution, defined baseball as a rural game in which the person striking the ball must run to his base or goal. So the word existed in the 18th century, but it coexisted with other names. In Pittsfield, Massachusetts, the local government banned the playing of any game of wicket, cricket, baseball, bat ball, football, cats, fives, or any other game played with ball within 80 yards of the town meeting house. There are other examples of governments banning various ball games. Unlike cricket, a sport with standardized rules that had been written down and widely accepted, North Americans played their own local version of goal ball, field ball, round ball, town ball, and baseball. The rules varied for a game that was evolving into modern baseball. American Robin Carver published the Book of Sports in 1834. I've linked a digital copy of the book in the video's description, and in it, Carver describes cricket, handball, and a primitive version of American football. Here's what Carver says about North America's bat and ball game. It is sometimes called round ball, but I believe that base or goal ball are the names generally adopted in our country. The players divide into 2 equal parties, and chance decides which shall have first innings. 4 stones or stakes are placed from 12 to 20 yards asunder as A, B, C, and D. And it goes on to describe a pitcher tossing the ball gently towards a hitter who has 3 chances to make contact. It sounds a lot like baseball. Another thing to say is that Americans from New England and New York migrated into Ontario, Canada, and vice versa. We're talking about sister nations and porous borders. All of this takes us to Beachville, a small farming community in Oxford County, Ontario, about 90 miles southwest of Toronto. Adam Ford told Sporting Life that the game took place on June 4th, 1838, in the field near what is now the Beachville Baptist Church. Historians have not found corroborating accounts of the game Ford describes, so we're relying on the recollection of a middle-aged man remembering an event from his childhood. David Block, author of Baseball Before We Knew It, cast doubt on Ford's seemingly perfect memory of an event almost 5 decades ago, and especially things like the precise dimensions of the playing field. Historians Robert Barney and Nancy Bouchier have shown that the date of the game in question, June 4th, 1838, was in fact a public holiday, Militia Day, and it would have featured communal gatherings and recreational activities. Using county records, Varney and Bouchier confirmed the identities of the people Ford named in his account. Moreover, the rules and field layout resembled versions of baseball that have been documented elsewhere. Bill Humber believes Ford's memory is suspiciously detailed, too good to be perfectly true, but his recollection points to the underlying truth that people in Ontario played a version of baseball different from and influenced by the versions in New York and Massachusetts. Exactly what happened in Beachville on June 4, 1838 will never be in perfect historical focus, but it has become clearly important for collective memory in Canada. The nation issued a commemorative stamp in 1988 and a commemorative coin 40 years later. More than a few Canadians have commented on my baseball videos, insisting that the first recorded baseball game was in Beachville, not the Elysian Fields of Hoboken, New Jersey. It matters to some people, and in Beachville itself you can find a museum celebrating the game and a plaque indicating that it was the first recorded ball game in Canada. So what's my take? I don't place much faith in the accuracy of a grown man's childhood memory, but I do believe Canadians played a distinctly North American ball game in 1838. Not rounders, not cricket, but something drawn from local traditions in Ontario. Canadian rules baseball. Canada and the United States are sister nations after all. Baseball evolved concurrently in North America during the first half of the 19th century. Once the New York Knickerbockers wrote down their rules and promoted them, it changed the course of history. The New York version eventually gained traction in Canada and every part of the United States. So Canadians have been playing baseball as long as Americans, from the 19th to the 21st century. Here are the sources I consulted for this video. Let me know what you think of it in the comments, and thanks for watching.